What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com. Here are my DFS picks for NBA Friday, April 1st. These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button and hit that bell icon so you don't miss our new videos. In this video, I'm going to go over my top picks for today's NBA slate. And if you stick around to the very end of this video, we'll use the Draft Dashboard tools to make a DFS lineup using the picks we just made. Okay guys, we have a 10-game slate tonight. So let's take a look at the point guard position. I like Chris Paul from the Phoenix Suns playing the Memphis Grizzlies, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall. Although they've been pretty good versus opposing point guards, Chris Paul has averaged 41.1 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 33 minutes per game with a 20% usage rate. He's projected at 41.3 fantasy points here tonight. That's 5 times value. He's 8,300 DraftKings salary, 200 less on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 229 points scored in this game, and Chris Paul has scored 31, 51, and 46 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 32, 36, and 30 minutes. And he scored 46, 49, and 38 fantasy points in his last 3 games versus the Grizzlies. He's got clear 45 to 50 plus fantasy point upside. So I like Chris Paul here versus the Memphis Grizzlies. Now, if you want to save some salary at the point guard position, although he's not playing a ton of minutes, he's super productive. This would be a DraftKings play. Take a look at Markelle Fultz from the Orlando Magic playing the Toronto Raptors, who have a good defense overall. They've been good versus opposing point guards. Markelle Fultz has averaged 22.4 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 18 minutes per game with a 28% usage rate. He's projected at 23.2 fantasy points here tonight, and that's 5.5 times value. He's only 4,200 DraftKings salary, but he's 1,500 more on FanDuel, so this would be a DraftKings play for me. Vegas thinks there's going to be 218.5 points scored in this game, and Markelle Fultz has scored 43, 22, and 28 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 21, 18, and 19 minutes. So I like Markelle Fultz as a value play on DraftKings here versus the Toronto Raptors. Before I continue with the picks, I'm excited today because we added a new contest for everyone watching. If you want to enter the drawing for $25 PayPal, all you need to do is like this video, hit that subscribe button, and make a quick comment below to be entered into the drawing. We'll reply to a random comment and let you know that you won. And we'll send you $25 PayPal. So it's that easy, and we pick a new winner every Saturday and announce them in our video. So get your comment in now so I can add another entry for you. Okay, let's take a look at the shooting guard position. I like Jaylen Brown from the Boston Celtics playing the Indiana Pacers, who have the 8th worst defense overall. They give up the 6th most fantasy points to opposing shooting guards. Also eligible at the small forward position, Jaylen Brown has averaged 38.7 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 34 minutes per game with a 31% usage rate. He's projected at 39.8 fantasy points here tonight. That's 5 times value. He's 8,000 DraftKings salary, 200 less on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 224.5 points scored in this game. And Jaylen Brown has scored 52, and 49 fantasy points in the last 2 games, playing 37 and 34 minutes. And I like this pick because Jaylen Brown has scored 42, 47, and 59 fantasy points in his last 3 games versus the Pacers. So I like Jaylen Brown here versus the Indiana Pacers. Okay, another shooting guard that I like. Until they raise this guy's price over $6K, I'm going to continue to go with this guy. Pound the hammer or pound the nail or whatever it is until this guy stops punching through the wood. I have no idea what that analogy was, but I like Will Barton from the Denver Nuggets playing the Minnesota Timberwolves, who have the 10th worst defense overall. They give up the 11th most fantasy points to opposing shooting guards. Will Barton has averaged 29.3 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 32 minutes per game with a 21% usage rate. He's projected at 30.8 fantasy points here tonight. That's 5.2 times value. He's $5,900 DraftKings salary, $100 less on FanDuel, and Vegas thinks there's going to be 237 points scored in this game, so a great game to stack. And Will Barton, he's been on fire, scoring 33, 33, 42, and 36 fantasy points in his last 4 games. In the last 3 games, he played 38, 37, and 35 minutes. So I like Will Barton here versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. Okay, let's take a look at the small forward position. I like Anthony Edwards from the Minnesota Timberwolves playing the Denver Nuggets, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall. They've been pretty good versus opposing small forwards, but Anthony Edwards has averaged 37.1 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 34 minutes per game with a 26% usage rate. He's projected at 37.4 fantasy points here tonight. That's 5.1 times value. He's $7,400 DraftKings salary, and he's $600 less on FanDuel. So I love that FanDuel price. We know Vegas thinks there's going to be 237 points scored in this game, so I want to have a couple players from this game, preferably one from each team. And Anthony Edwards has scored 44, 41, and 27 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 31, 37, and 32 minutes. So I like Anthony Edwards here versus the Denver Nuggets.
Real quick, guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. You can try all of our DFS tools for all sports. You can try the Position Optimizer, where you can see the top players ranked for each position. And we added a new Player Trends tool, where you can see the top salary differences between FanDuel and DraftKings. It's a really good tool to help you pick out value for the site that you're playing on. Oh, and if you're tired of doing research every day, we just added a cheat sheet that shows hand-picked plays for the slate. No confusing stat lines, no headaches, just a simple cheat sheet that shows the absolute best players for your lineups.
Now I think this guy's a decent value or mid-range play. He's playing a ton of minutes, and I think he can get at least 5 times value fairly easily with the amount of minutes that he's playing. So take a look at Devin Vassell from the San Antonio Spurs, playing the Portland Trailblazers, who have the 4th worst defense overall. They're middle of the pack defending opposing small forwards. Devin Vassell has averaged 23.9 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 27 minutes per game with a 19% usage rate. He's projected at 26 fantasy points here tonight. That's just about 5 times value. He's $5,300 DraftKings salary, same price on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 231.5 points scored in this game, And Devin Vassell has scored 25 and 24 fantasy points in the last 2 games, and he played 34 minutes in each of those games. So if Devin Vassell is going to get 34 minutes here tonight, I think he's got a great chance at getting you 5 times value or more. So I like Devin Vassell as a value play here versus the Portland Trailblazers. Okay, let's take a look at the power forward position. So you got Giannis on the slate at power forward, Jason Tatum, Pascal Siakam. I think Keldon Johnson is an interesting play as well. He's playing a ton of minutes and has got 40 plus fantasy point upside at only $6,700 DraftKings salary. But let's take a look at a value play who was fantastic for us in yesterday's video. We picked this guy and he came through big time. Now it is a back-to-back, but I think he still gets enough minutes where he can hit value again here tonight. So take a look at Nicholas Batum from the LA Clippers playing the Milwaukee Bucks, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall, and they're middle-of-the-pack defending opposing power forwards. Nicholas Batum has averaged 20.4 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 25 minutes per game with a 14% usage rate. He's projected at 19.5 fantasy points here tonight. That's 5.4 times value. He's still only $3,600 DraftKings salary, 100 more on FanDuel, and Vegas thinks there's going to be 231.5 points scored in this game. So nice high scoring game to get some low salary action from. And Nicholas Batum scored 38, 19, and 16 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 38, 22, and 22 minutes. Now on a back-to-back, I don't think he's going to play 38 minutes again here tonight, but even if he only gets his season average of 20 to 22 fantasy points, plays 25 minutes, he's going to get you over 5 times value. So I like Nicholas Batum here versus the Milwaukee Bucks. Now another guy you could go with, who I think's got some good upside as well, is Larry Nance Jr. from the New Orleans Pelicans playing the LA Lakers. Larry Nance Jr. has averaged 19.4 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 23 minutes per game with a 13% usage rate. He's projected at 18 fantasy points here tonight. That's 5 times value. He's also only $3,600 DraftKings salary, although he is 400 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 234 points scored in this game, so another good game to stack. Probably want to get a piece of the action in this game as well. And Larry Nance Jr., he scored 15 and 20 fantasy points in his last 2 games, playing 21 and 18 minutes. If he can get closer to his season average in minutes, I think he can score 20 fantasy points or more here. And he does got some pretty good upside. I think he can push 30 fantasy points if he gets going. So I like Larry Nance Jr. as a value play on DraftKings here versus the LA Lakers. Okay, moving on to the center position. Don't have to tell you about Nikola Jokic from the Denver Nuggets playing the Minnesota Timberwolves in this high-scoring game. 237 points scored in this game. This guy scored 71, 71, and 70 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 35, 35, and 34 minutes. He's $12,500 DraftKings salary. He's $900 less on FanDuel. So, of course, we like Nikola Jokic here versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. But another center that I like here tonight is Jonas Valanciunas from the New Orleans Pelicans playing the LA Lakers, who have the 3rd worst defense overall, middle of the pack defending opposing centers. Jonas Valanciunas has averaged 39.6 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 31 minutes per game with a 24% usage rate. He's projected at 41 fantasy points here tonight. That's 5.1 times value. He's 8,100 DraftKings salary, 200 more on FanDuel. We know Vegas thinks there's going to be 234 points scored in this game, and Jonas Valanciunas has scored 46, 43, and 43 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 35, 36, and 29 minutes. So I like Jonas Valanciunas here versus the LA Lakers. Oh, real quick before you get out of here, if you want daily sports betting and player prop picks, we put a link to today's video with our NBA picks in the bottom of the description of this video. It's our new YouTube channel, so we would really appreciate it if you dropped a like on that video and subscribe to that new channel so it can help us get shown in the YouTube algorithm and you won't miss those daily NBA picks.
If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this NBA slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again, and good luck.